Alright, data item description, office management budget form 07040188. Alright, the title is the end item production component item consumption repair history data. That is identification number DIALSS 81220A. Data item, the description purpose of the data item description design support for the reporting of the repair history of the contract repair items. Repair history data is used, the requirement that is used by the requirements database, data bank, application program, indentured. System also show the requirement data bank weapon system functionality, the formation of the repair history based on the concept relating component items consumption for the end item and next hire assembly production. Approval date 97th of January 24th. The Office of Primary, the FA of Air Force Material Command, LGNM, data item DTICNG get applicable, not marked. Alright, application of the interrelation of data item description contains format, contact, preparation, instruction for the repair history data generated by the specifically discrete of the task requirement delineated with the contract data item description approved with the overall repair manufacturer contracts will be used with the end item and the next hire assembly production of the component item consumption with the contractor update with the repair items repair history of the application programs and indenture records production repair data is required on the weapon support system recoveries for the end item consumption data is required by the component item in the repair data item this data item description supersedes DI analysis 81220. Reference document can be obtained by specified contract for explains. Contact Air Force Material Command ENS 937 2573085 and Commander Locator 937-257-28231. Approval limitations applicable forms. Um, Not marked AMSC number F7220. Our preparation instruction reference novel the applicable the issue of the document cited herein, include the approval of the date for the dates and aim of the applicable amendment. The notes of revision shall be applied specified with the contract format. The data shall be made available to Viva electronic medium ASC 2264 character set. Data required should be formatted in accordance with the paragraphs 10.4 and 10.4.2. Data required should be accompanied with a tabular listing. Content each contractor item required with the data elements of the columns specified with a specific format shall not be modified. The elements identified with the mandatory required data processing should not be tailored out. The procuring of the activity may be specific default of the value of the mandatory refill of the Air Logistics Center code. For repair history for the complete with the both production and consumption records required with the repeating period is specified with the contractor build update with the repair history with and the NHA. Where did I see that? Next hire assembly production record will be filed with at least one of the component item consumption records. However, the more component items consumption record may be listed on repair. Next hire assembly production record with every component item consumption record will file with the related next hire up assembly production record. 10.3.2 the instruction two type of action code type of action code for reporting the next hire assembly end item production history the type of action code 9 reporting on the component end item consumption history the next hire is up assembly end item repaired overhaul requires submittal of the type of action code for production record and each component item is used the repair with the production requirement the type of action code for the 9 for consumption record the type of the action type of the actions for 4 and 9 should not be used to create update or delete indenture records. 10.4 instructions. These instructions are divided into two parts. Next higher up assembly end item production record reference 10.4.1 and component item consumption record reference 10.4.2. Continue on page 2. Distribution statement approved for public release. Distribution is unlimited. Alright, block 3, description and purpose of the repair history of the design identified by the contractor government technical repair center for the performing maintenance of the range of the usage repairs of parts and materials required to prepare them. Items identified by the government furnished material for the contractor serve the requisition guide Block 10, preparing guide instructions containing product and content following data elements columns specified with the mandatory each product history item at production X higher up. Assembly may be weapon system. The other major end item line replaceable shall be a replaceable unit. Any part of the lower indentures. Every production X higher up at the assembly must be accompanied with one more component with the next consumption record filed record of the 160 column format. Next higher up, end item production code record column 1 type of actions, definition instruction mandatory entry type of action 4 code digit 4 of the next higher up end item production report. ALC, what was ALC? ALC, ALC, ALC. Air Logistics Center code mandatory entry of the appropriate signal database data alpha code for the Air Logistics Center that has management responsible for prepared item. Sacramento, Oregon, Oklahoma, Warren, Robbins, San Antonio, 35 blank, 6 through 37, the required part number. Use the part number assigned with the repair item reference DOD form 4100 39M, guided with the special characters. Part number is mandatory unless entry is in the columns 4357. The items identified with the National Stack Code, National Code, MDS or TMSM designator. 3842 repair of cage code contractor government entity assigned with the manufacturer of the part number. Cage is mandatory unless the entry columns 4357. The items identified with the national stock number, NC number, MDS, TMS or TMSM designator. 4357 the requirement of an SN national stock number and NC code MDS or TMS TMSM designator. When a repaired item or stock listed with the national stock number or NC code, or if the aircraft missile engine appropriate mission design series or type of model series, the type of model series module designator, reference the AFJ 116401, Department of Defense Directive 41-2015 for guidance when the data is entered in the column. No entries allowed with the part number column 6 through 37 and cage goes 3842. Alright, 58 through 81 are blank. 82 reverse indicator that use the hyphen line and items of reverse previous reporting manual. Many of the NHS items were erroneously reported with being produced. Columns 83 through 87 enter the quantity of the items are erroneously reported. Black blank is valid entry. 83 through 87 repaired item reproduction. Mandatory entry. Use quantity items produced and overall during the reporting period. Universal entry quantity items of erroneous reported provide prefix 0 to fill. 85 to 159 blank. 160 end recorder item mandatory of X required with the identifier at the end of the record. 10.4.2 component item content. The following data items show the column specified with the mandatory each component item and item record. Component item maybe major end of the major end item line replaceable shop replaceable unit bit piece any part of the lower denture. Component item record must receive the relay with the next higher up assembly item record. Multiple component item records may be identified single in the next higher up record. Next higher up at the assembly record, and either the following anticipated either during the repair of the next higher up at the assembly item shall have the appropriate die replacement percent. Following records is following the record is 169 column 169 160 column format. Alright, the component end item consumption records. Type of activity code mandatory entry the type of activity code 9 with the component item consumption record. 2 through 5 is blank. 6 through 37 the repaired part number. Use part number assigned with the repaired item reference DOD 41-139M. Guidance with the use special character part number to mandatory and left the entry code in columns 43 through 57. And items identified with the national stock code, national code of the MDS TMSM designator. 3842 required cage code with the UV the cage code assigned with the manufacturer part number. The cage is mandatory unless the entry codes of 43 through 57 identified with the national stock number, NC number, MDS, TMS, or TMS designator. 4 through 57 repair NSN, NC, MDS, TMS, TMSM designator. When repairing the stock out of the NCS or NC with the aircraft with missile engine appropriate with the MDS, TMS, TMS designator reference AFJ 16 AFJI 16401 DOD Directive 41-2015 the guidance from data entered in the column and no entry with the part number of the column 6 through 37 the cage columns 38 through 42. 82. Reversal indicator consumption using a hyphen line item reverses is a reverse previous reporting to many of the component in the items where erroneous reported as being consumed. In columns 83 through 87, enter the quantity items erroneously reported. Blank is valid entry. 83 through 87. Component item consumption quantity, mandatory entry quantity of the component item consumed with the overhaul of the national next higher up. Similarly, during the reporting period, over reversal entry of the quantity of the items erroneously reported, prefix zeros to fill. 88 to 119 component end item part number. You the component part number assigned with the component item. You the repair of the next higher up assembly and or end item. Refers to the Department of Directive 4139M, guidance for the special characters, part number, the mandatory unless entry in columns 125 through 139, items identified with the national stock number, NC number, MD material, MDS, DMS designator. 120 through 124 cage code. You for the cage code assigned with the manufacturer part number of the cage is mandatory unless entry for the columns 125, 139 items identified with the national stock number, MC, the MDS, DMS, DMSM designator. 125, 139, C component end item NAS, NS, NC, MDS, TMS, TMSS, designator. Component end item stock will know the NSN if the aircraft missile engine appropriate MDS, TMS, TMSM designated reference to AFJI 16401 Department of Defense Directive 41-2015 for guidance. When data is entered in the column, no entry is allowed with the part number or cage in columns 88 through 119. Or cage code columns 120, 124, 140, 159, blank, 60, end of record, indicator, mandatory X, entry of X, requires identified end of the record. And this was the end item production, component item consumption, repair history data. Testing.